Oh, hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We have a whole new slew of information that has just come across for more and more people that are getting laid off. Remember, this is not a healthy economy. This is not a light, soft landing into a mild recession. This is a economic crash. All right. And I'm going to read to you a handful of headlines today. T-Mobile, the first one, will lay off 5,000 employees, or about 7% of its workforce. 7%. In the coming weeks. Yeah, soft landing. Here we go. Wireless carrier T-Mobile said Thursday it plans to cut 5,000 jobs, or about 7% of its workforce. In an email to employees sharing its regulatory filing, CEO Michael Servant said the layoffs would come over the next 5 weeks and impact T-Mobile workers across the country, particularly those working in corporate and back office roles, as well as some technology positions. Remember, everyone, do you remember me telling you that you were going to see mass layoffs by the end of September? Get ready. This is just the beginning. He says this is a large change. There's big changes coming. Trust me, they're big. And an unusual one for our company, he wrote. Because of this, we do not envision making additional large-scale reductions across the company again in the foreseeable future. Just so you know, that is not true. It will not be true. I will be doing a story on this where they have laid off more people before January. Mark my words. If you work for T-Mobile, let us know down below. Hope you don't lose your job. But I'm telling you right now, we have seen consistent lying from these CEOs. Why? Because they're in damage control, and the last thing they want, as other people get, as people that set 5,000 people get laid off, the last thing they want is another 7% of their workforce to leave because they're afraid that they're going to be next. And so, if you're working for these companies that are starting to lay people off, you need to be looking for an alternative revenue source, or a secondary revenue source, or another job. But there are going to be so few companies that are immune from these layoffs that are coming this fall and into winter. T-Mobile estimated it will book a pre-tax charge of about 450 million in the third quarter related to job cuts. Laid off employees will receive severance payments based on tenure. T-Mobile estimated, it says the tenure is 60 days minimum of transition leave, career transition services, and other benefits, Thursday's announcement said. Let's move away from T-Mobile. Put down below what sectors you believe are going to get hit the hardest in the crash, in the mass layoffs of the fall and the winter of 2023 and 2024. Let me know down below which ones you think are going to be the hardest hit. And I honestly believe it's going to be some surprises, because 3 years ago when I started this channel, everyone was telling me, when I said get ready for these layoffs, everyone in healthcare says, oh, I'm fine. Well, just so you know, healthcare is the #1 layoffs in the last year that we've seen. And a lot of people talking about tech, but the numbers just don't lie. There are so much fewer jobs in the healthcare industry right now. Healthcare is getting hit hard. I believe restaurants are another one that are going to get absolutely hit hard. But check this out. This is out of healthcare, out of Forbes. Mass layoffs continue across the biotech sector. What does this mean for pharma's future? Now, this is a very interesting story because they're going to play into COVID. Let's talk about that, okay? More than 115 biotech companies have announced layoffs this year, on track to easily surpass 2022's numbers. While this is not a new trend, the current trajectory is concerning. See, that is getting interesting. The trajectory is going up. When I talked about this in January and February, when we were talking about layoffs to the tunes of tens of thousands of people, every other day were being laid off in our country. And I reminded you that the Federal Reserve wants this. They want your house going down. They want you losing your job. They've actually made that very clear in statements. They've even made it extremely clear when Jerome Powell came out and said, you are going to experience pain. You're going to feel pain. This is going to be very uncomfortable. Let me know down below if you believe that, here, type 1 if you think losing your job is uncomfortable. Type 2 if you think it's pure hell, quite frankly. Especially when most Americans are snuggled away, tucked away in their monthly budgets, where they get a certain amount coming in, and they have a certain amount of money going out, and they lose their job. They don't have a nest egg. Most people in our country do not have $400 to scrape together for an emergency right now. And so I believe it's going to be number 2. It's going to be pure hell when you lose your job. And I've been preparing for this. I know it sounds crazy. I'm a firefighter. But a lot of things happen. A lot of things happened during the Great Recession. Think about this. The Department of Defense is just the nation's largest employer. Did you realize this? Type 3 if you realize it. Type 4 if you did not know this. The nation's largest employer had all of their cost of living adjustments. They had them frozen for a period of 10 years, I believe it was a full decade. Think about that. You had no cost of living adjustment, and a lot of overtime and stuff was taken away. I've talked to people that were in the Department of Defense talking about that after the Great Recession. All right, let's dive back into the healthcare section, biotech. It says this is not a new trend, but the current trajectory is concerning, as it portends more difficult times ahead for the pharmaceutical industry, already in the midst of a major upheaval. It should also be another wake-up call to pharma executives. The old way of doing business needs to change, and urgently. Interesting that we keep hearing the word change, changing, big change. I have a feeling that 99% of America is not ready for this change that will start at the end of September. And I don't believe it'll come in the form of a stock market crash. I think you're going to see more banks collapsing. You're going to see massive layoffs. Perhaps it will equate to some downturn in the stocks, but the problem is we have not experienced inflation like this. We're passing the 70s inflation. I get it. The government's really good at lying to you. Look at what happened during the shutdowns. And they're going to start this all over again. They're issuing a digital currency. They're already talking about mask mandates. They want to hide something. And I would be remiss if I didn't share with you the truth, or at least my feelings of the truth, even if it would get me in trouble with social media outlets. And I'm trying my hardest to wake people up, but boy, this is a clown circus right now. The government is straight up a clown circus. Let me down below why you think the government would be considered a clown circus. Just let the comments fly. So this should be a wake-up call, not for big pharma execs, but for you, an employee or an employer. For the past 2 decades, it says the biopharma sector has witnessed the shedding of hundreds of thousands of jobs. All the signs point towards an acceleration of these losses. Noteworthy among the recent layoffs is Biogen, which plans to release around 1,000 employees, or 11% of its workforce, over the next few years as a part of its Fit for Growth program. Biogen's business is a transition, says its president, CEO, Christopher blah, 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 blah. I don't think Christopher's going to lose his job. Adding, we know he isn't. We have taken a bottom-up view to shift our resources to the areas of greatest value creation. Biogen's challenges are not unique. Other leading pharma companies are beginning to take similar steps to rethink their business strategy, cut costs, and boost savings. Remember, most of the companies in our country are insolvent. It's the way the IRS runs their tax code. It does not behoove or benefit a company or corporation to save money, because that's money they're going to get taxed on. They want to blow it in all kinds of different ways, everything from salaries to R&D. And remember, if that easy, cheap money from the government dries up, which it's going to, you're going to see this in the next year and a half, they're going to do mass layoffs like you wouldn't believe. So that's pharmaceuticals. Let's move on to the next one. This is out of the New York Post. Goldman Sachs today, back-to-back office directive may signal more looming layoffs. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon may not have a problem getting his bankers back to the office 5 days a week, and the reason starts with an L. Even before Goldman bankers received what one insider called a gentle reminder about the 5-day directive earlier this week, some of the rank and file claimed they were already planning to step up attendance after Labor Day on the money has learned. That's because fears are reigniting about another possible round of layoffs, so sources say. Our banking system is imploding right now. I've done many videos. As a matter of fact, I've got to compile the ones where I said, oh, the one's going to crash this quarter, and it did, and then this one's going to crash this week of this month, and so on and so forth, and put them together, and we'll try and edit something together, because people need to see that there are actually people that can actually see this ahead of time, not because they're psychic or prophetic, but because it's a very easy identifiable part in an economic cycle. And I've been through 2 of these already. Frank, thank you for the coffee money. But it's hard. You know, I've used so much humor, or tried to, my version of humor, this last 3 years to wake people up. And now we're here. It's happening all around us. And I can't believe they're going to try and push COVID again. It just blows me away. You know, what's scary is a lot of people are going to buy it. And yeah, it's flu. And if you listen to what they say, it's going to hurt you because they hook you up to machines and put stuff in your body. And I'm telling you, man, this is scary stuff. But at the same time, I go, okay, we got an army of people right now watching this. Who here is a part of Ninja Nation? Say I am, or hashtag Ninja Nation. You know, literally 1 million people around the country or around the world that are getting prepared. They're not scared. And they're chomping at the bit like a racehorse in the stall, getting ready for that gate to open, to take advantage of all those low prices on assets that the banks want to buy. And but yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's not fun being right when it's about this stuff. It's gonna be fun being right when we can help people repair their credit and show them how to buy homes and buy them right, and do that in this next cycle and make the American people, the middle class, strong again. Bring the wealth back again to the middle class, lower and middle class. We need this. Poor people are going to be poor. I'm just saying. There's very few people in my life that I've seen, and this happened to me, that have catastrophic things happen to them and dig themselves back out because they believe in themselves. I want more people to believe in themselves, because you're not going to like it if you lose your job and you don't have any money on the side. You're not going to like it if you're not prepared for this. Like I was sort of prepared, but not as prepared as I wanted to be during the Great Recession. I wanted to buy up 100 homes back then. I'm going to do that this time. But right here, look at the bankers. Goldman most recently axed 250 employees in June, including 125 managing directors. And most people think that's not a big deal. Look at this. In January, Solomon Smith Barney slashed 3,200 workers, the most since the 2008 financial crisis. What does that tell you? We have already experienced in this country a banking crash larger than all of 2008 combined. Did you know that? Type 10 if you knew that. Type 11 if you had no idea. That the banking crash, if you add up all the dollars that were at risk or evaporated, we're talking about larger than the Great Recession. This banking crash is going to make that look like a field day, which means there's going to be much better opportunities. We are faced with 2 things that we were not faced with in 2008 when we're coming into all these layoffs. We have out of control inflation that the Federal Reserve cannot get in control of, and we're losing our world's reserve currency status around the world. Countries are dumping dollars. Look at how much our dollar has fallen just compared to the pound in the last year. Our dollar has been pounded. I think that people need to wake up more. I just don't know how to do it. And I'll keep trying. I'll keep hitting record. But I want this to be an exciting thing. I want 1 million people ready for this. That's my dream. I'd love it to be 10. But if you're in this video and you're still here, quite frankly, you are a special type of person, and not the special type of person that the 98% or 99% of sheep in this world think of you. You are, quite frankly, a warrior. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I don't care what bills you have. If you are working diligently to right now pay off debt, save up money, and prepare for something you can't see but you feel it coming, you are going to absolutely dominate it. You're going to kill it. You're going to crush it. And that's what I want. And that's what our country needs. Make America rich again. And the only way we could do that is to take back the money from the elites. And that doesn't come in the form of protests. You can't do Occupy Wall Street. None of that crap's going to work. You need to go up and buy the houses from the foreclosure auctions. You need to buy the art, the collectibles at rock bottom prices, not at prices like they are now. Look at Rolex is already starting to drop. Diamonds are dropping right now. It's happening right in front of your eyes. And it's going to get real good. And the cool news is about all this, it's going to take a couple of years to shake out. So you've got time. If you're sitting there scared right now, don't be afraid. Use that fear as a motivator. Fear has motivated me in an amazing way. And all those people that say, don't fear, God says, don't fear. Tell you what, Noah didn't wake up every morning and build that ark for 100 years because he thought, oh no, if I don't do it, no, God's just going to take care of me. No, he had the fear of God when God says I'm going to do something. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I've only said this a couple times. Bad people want to crash this economy, but God's going to be the one that crashes it in a way that they aren't ready for it. I was shown that 12 years ago, and I don't care. You don't got to believe in God or not to look around and go, oh, this place is going to crap in a handbasket. So you know what? Why don't we take advantage of this? And let's build an army of great people, smart people, humble people, but also at the same time, people that are willing to jump out of their comfort zone and go crush it. Hope you got something out of this. The layoffs are going to get worse. This is going to be a massive, massive month coming up in September. Can't wait to see you guys at the end of September in Las Vegas because we're going to have some really interesting things to talk about. That being said, thank you to everyone that shares these videos. The Economic Ninja is out.